I wanna talk to our friend John Rich right now because everybody knows it is Redneck Riviera Fridays. I love the lyrics to this because it's like you saw inside my soul. This bottle's gonna be empty by the time this all said and done.
Me too.
I already cleaned out my other one, John. That's we had to, because to help us to get through the pandemic. Goodness, John Rich. Everybody knows my friend John Rich, Redneck Riviera, and that is his new song. I love the cover of it because it's an empty toilet paper roll. Stay home, Big and Rich, stay home, and you can. It's up on if you follow him on social media at John Rich. He's got it as his pinned tweet right up there. How are you doing, my friend? I know you got a house concert tonight that we're going to talk about, but how are you staying sane?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually sitting on the stage right now in the house. People say, "Can't believe you got a bar in your house, John." I said, "Well, actually, I got a house in my bar." It's kind of a joke, but it's Big Kenny's coming over, and we're going to do a full-blown Big and Rich 60 to 70-minute set tonight, live. It's free to watch.
I'm watching.
FoxNation.com, whatever. And that little song you just played, "Stay Home," we'll be playing that song tonight too.
That is awesome, and I love it because that's the anthem for America right now. That is our jam. That's our soundtrack for right now. I think every person has their own theme song, and that is all of our theme songs right now. Is this song?
Well, I was trying to write a public service announcement, and I was going to you know what? I'm going to see if I can come up with something that kind of put a grin on your face and get the message across to stay home, America, stay home. And so I wrote this little chorus, and I played it for a couple of buddies, and they started laughing so hard. They're like, "Dude, we got to finish writing the rest of the song. Let's make it a whole song." I said, "Well, what the hell? There's nothing else going on. Let's write it." So a few days ago, we wrote the song. Big Kenny loved it. We recorded it, and it's being played coast to coast today on country radio and all over the place. And, the point of it is stay home and, let's try to have fun while we are staying at home as much as you can. And to me, Dana, I never thought I'd say this as a songwriter, but the best day in the world is going to be the final day this song ever plays because it won't mean anything after that day. That's the day I'm looking forward to.
There you go, right there. I mean, it is. I mean, that is, I think what the new deadline now is April 30th. Hopefully, we'll all get there and stay sane. Let me ask you this question. I've been asking most everyone this because Easter is coming up. John, are you and your family going to go to Easter in your living room? Are you going in your dining room? I mean, because we're all going to get dressed up to go to a room in our homes. So where are you going to go?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're going to do. But I tell you what, here's a great thing about God. He does not live in a building.
Amen.
Okay? God does not live in a building, and you can worship God anywhere you want to, anytime you want to. You can talk to him, and he will listen to you, and he will talk back to you anytime, any place. That's what I believe because I know it's a fact.
Well, it is biblical fact.
Yes. Matter of fact, you might be able to talk to him better now than ever because you are slowed down and maybe a little more still, and maybe you can hear him a little bit better and focus on it even more. Could be the greatest Easter of all time, honestly.
Yeah, and I made the remark to my husband about this when our church announced that they were going to start streaming their services on Sunday, and they were going to start streaming life groups and Bible studies and that. And I thought, now we had all been complaining up until this point about social media and how it's been abused. And now look at it. Now it's been taken over. And now I'm like, that's amazing to see. Like, God's got a sense of humor for sure. This, are you worried at all about, I'm sure you are. Everybody's got concerns. I mean, we're cautious, but we're optimistic. What are your thoughts about really you don't want to see the American spirit broken. And I'm concerned that, as we get closer to April 30th, there's a lot of what ifs in my head. Like, what if it's extended longer? We were talking a little bit earlier on the show about how you can't really shut the economy down for that long. Maybe there's like a halfway point that we can meet at where the most vulnerable of our population can be isolated and the rest of us, we can get to work and do what we need to do. I mean, what are your thoughts on like a halfway point and keeping spirits up despite the fact that we got some pretty crazy jobs numbers coming in?
So what's the thing that causes the most anxiety right now? At least it is for me. Not knowing if you have this or not. Because the study comes out that says 80% of the people that have become sick with COVID-19 were infected by people who were asymptomatic.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the next thing I'd like to see happen ASAP, like right now, is mass production of instant test kits where people can be at home and test yourself, your kids, your family members, your grandmother, whoever, and find out who's really positive and who's really negative. Because right now you can't go anywhere because every person you see, you think they might have it, and honestly, you think you might have it. You don't
Yeah.
know. And so to me, that's the big anxiety. And you're right. There are hardworking Americans out there everywhere that were raised like I was, which is you never take assistance if you can keep from anybody, much less the government.
Right.
You just don't do it. But guess what? There's tens of millions of Americans that are either doing that right now or they're going to have to start doing it very, very soon. And so that it can be a spirit breaker. And, another thing I'm concerned about is, we're told there's always going to be food in the grocery store. There's always going to be food. Yeah, but is there always going to be money to buy the food with?
Right.
You see, I mean, at some point, there was that stimulus package, but that's only going to last so long. It's not going to last a very long time at all. Matter of fact, I don't think it lasts past April 30th for a regular family. So then what? So those are the things that concern me. I'll give you a little insight here. So a country singer, Joe Diffie,
Yes.
who you know well, we're big fans of, he passed away from coronavirus last week. And I'm friends with his wife, and I was speaking with her, and she told me one of the most heartbreaking stories I've ever heard. And that is that when somebody is sick with coronavirus and they're in the hospital, they don't allow any family members back to see them, including if they are terminally ill with it. Meaning if they're dying of the virus, their significant other can't be in the room with them.
Right.
So they're dying in isolation back there. And so that hit me so wrong that I told myself, I bet you the president doesn't know that's going on. I bet you they don't know that that's actually happening. That's an unintended consequence of this quarantine and taking it all the way down the line like that, even to the final moments of someone's life. And it's not right. And so I actually called the White House. I picked up my phone and I called the people that I know and told them about this story. And I said, it's happening all over the place. And we're not even in the peak yet. So if you guys are talking about 6 figures of people that could pass away, extrapolate that to how much pain and agony that's going to cause for people all around this country. It's not fair and it's not right. And guess what they said? Absolutely, that's not right. And we're going to do something about it. So I'm looking forward to that being fixed as well. I think citizen by citizen, Dana, when we see something that we think we can help, no matter what that is, big level, small level, we should do it right now.
Amen to that. And you see a need, fill a need, be a good steward of your fellow man. Absolutely. And there's so many good stories of this out there. And every single time I see one, every day I see at least 5 or 6 headlines of people banding together to help each other, whether it's truckers who, God love our truckers right now, who are getting our goods to the shelves, and the people who are stocking them, the people in the warehouses that are loading those trucks up. I was reading a story of one truck driver who was trying to get something to eat, and this was a woman who had taken photos with him. They were on Facebook, and this couple had seen that this fast food restaurant that they had stopped at off this major interstate, you couldn't go in for in-room dining. You only had to go up to the drive-through, but if you're not in a car, they don't serve you. And so this truck driver was trying to figure out what to do, and this couple realized it. They ordered for him and made sure he was able to eat. And we got to think about that too, because there's parks that are closing, and some of the roadside truck stops are closing, and a lot of these,
right.
The in dining at a lot of these establishments that they would stop at. But to see that act of kindness, and then to hear stories about it being repeated all over the country, that's amazing. And I think one of the things that it shows, John, to your point on this, is that despite all of the bickering over politics and everything else, no one was asking what that man's politics were. No one was asking what he believed. They just saw that someone was hungry and they were driving supplies across the country, and they stepped up and made sure that he had what he needed. And I think that's really what it's all about, and that's what's showing.
Yeah, and it's good to see that that's still in the American DNA, regardless of how vicious it gets going back and forth on this political stuff, that when it really gets down to the tough stuff, Americans are still there for each other. Yes, that is an incredible thing to see. This silly little song, Stay Home, there's not a lot of things to laugh at, and we're definitely not laughing at this situation.
Right.
But we wanted to try to write something that would put a grin on your face just for 2.5 minutes and remind you, stay home. Dana, I say this is like the grandma got run over by a reindeer for the
It
coronavirus.
is.
That's what.
Oh
That's
my
what the song
gosh,
is.
it is. It's totally like that. Oh my gosh, that's that song totally. Now it just hit me because I'm like, there's a familiar, not melody or anything, but a familiar feeling in the soul about this song, and that's what it is. I wanted to also ask you because I had a headline about Corona beer. They're not. It's not considered essential in Mexico, but thankfully you can still order Redneck Riviera online, John.
Yeah, you can. And matter of fact, redneckriviera.com, I put on the very front page $8 off. There's a coupon that's a digital coupon. We're in 10,000 stores now across America. Redneckriviera.com has a store locator. You put in your zip code and you find a store. I own the brand, so I said, man, knock a bunch of money off of it. Make it as affordable as possible. It's only like $25 as it is. So we're knocking off another $8 off these bottles. And, it comes down to decisions, right? So I was having to make a decision today. I was like, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, guys? I don't know. How bad is it? See you later.
Judge it. That's a good measurement. How bad is it? Let's see, cup or bottle? I don't know. And I want to remind people too that even though we have fun about it, and it is a great tasting whiskey, by the way. This benefits Folds of Honor, and you've provided so many
Yes.
scholarships through the sale of Redneck Riviera to the children of our fallen heroes. And how many scholarships is it now?
Redneck Riviera Whiskey is now funded over 100 college scholarships. And one thing I'm glad you brought that up, is that the Folds of Honor is seeing a drastic decrease, obviously, in donations because of what's going on in our country. So, if you don't feel like you can write them a check right now and donate to Folds of Honor, products like mine still allow you to do that, and you're getting something for it that you probably want anyway. Tonight I'm going to be live streaming with Big Kenny right here at my house, foxnation.com. It's free to watch. You don't have to pay anything. It's going to be on all their platforms, and we'll be having a little Redneck Riviera whiskey. We're going to sing Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. We're going to do all the fun stuff tonight, 7 o'clock Central.
I'm going to be watching. I'm going to have my Redneck Riviera as well. John Rich, God bless you, my friend. I appreciate your optimism, and I appreciate the entertainment for those of us who are like, what are we doing tonight, kids? So I thank you so much. I'm proud to know you, and I appreciate all you do. John Rich, God bless you.